Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I've got three apparently random products that I'm going to show you today. I've grouped them together under a fairly naff pretext that they're all to do with animals, because a few of you did seem to enjoy the cat themed video of my purchases from Paul and Joe a couple of weeks ago, and I had these three oddments that I wanted to talk about. One of them, the main one really that I wanted to show you, is this palette from Chantecaille, which was released I think in the summer. I certainly got it in the late summer, early autumn, to commemorate their 20-year anniversary. I'm assuming the 20-year anniversary of the brand, although in fact if you'd asked me I would have said Chantecaille had been around since the early 90s. Apparently not. What I do know about them is that they have, from quite early on, had a commitment to the natural world, protected species, be they animal, bird, flora, fauna, whatever. And they have consistently released these limited edition palettes, mostly eye, but sometimes blush, sometimes single, which commemorate a particular endangered species. And a proportion of the proceeds of sale, supposedly, and I'm sure does, go to relevant charities protecting that species. Now, they're quite a pricey range. I have paid £76 for this palette, which, believe it or not, although I seem to show you a lot of expensive makeup, I do try to be quite careful and think twice about spending these obscene amounts of money, even when a portion is going to charity, for what is essentially coloured powder to put on my eyelids. And I do try, particularly when buying more expensive brands, to be buying things and certainly only keeping things that I really think I'm going to get a decent amount of wear from. So I have looked at these palettes quite frequently over the years, certainly since I started on YouTube. Been very tempted to buy them, but not being able to justify the money, partly because I thought they're so pretty, there's actually no chance that I would want to use this palette, so I would be buying it simply for collection purposes, and it's kind of a bridge too far. But I gave in this year, so shut up, I hear you say, and show us what you've got. It's 2.5 minutes in already. What does the palette look like? Well, here we go. This is the special anniversary palette, obviously commemorating elephants and lions, two kings of the jungle, and beautifully depicted in raised kind of engraving. I think a bit of overlay. I really haven't used this palette, or I certainly haven't swiped my finger to remove overlay, so there isn't very much there. And part of the reason, apart from the pretty pictures and the good cause for me getting this one, was that I thought it contained the sort of taupey golden colours that I might actually be persuaded to wear. So that was why I got it. Now, I do want to point out immediately that for £76, I'm pretty shocked about the quality of the packaging. I don't think these are pans that particularly fit very well. You see this one wants to come out and does. Now, maybe the magnetic is so that you can refill the palette subsequently. I'm going to assume that it is, but if it is, it's not very well constructed. As you can see, it slides about, it causes your fingernail to go in the product as you lift it out, and because it's not flush, it causes the pan to kind of stick up. I just don't think it's been very well manufactured. It kind of rings of Chinese manufacture. Let's just look on the back and see if it tells you where it is made. Made in Italy, so usually Italian products, a bit better quality than that. Maybe I just got a dodgy one. Sorry, I'm moving about a bit there. What about the eyeshadows themselves? Well, as I say, these are the sort of colours that I would really love. Now, they are silky soft. I immediately was attracted to this kind of goldeny taupe, but you can see there isn't really much colour payoff there. This one doesn't feel as soft, feels quite gritty. No payoff at all. Hopefully this one. You know, I'm not really scrubbing, but you can see these are not swatching particularly well. This pink one feels very gritty indeed. I'm not sure whether it's meant to be a blush or an eyeshadow, but whatever it is, you're not getting a whole lot of colour payoff there. And it's the same thing with the brush, really. If you get a firm, small brush, then you can pack it on to get some colour on the eye. But it's not terrible to work with, but it's by no means the sort of quality that I would expect for that sort of money. I'm really, really disappointed with this palette. It's a pretty collector's item, but the actual quality of how the palette is put together, and perhaps even more importantly, the quality of the product is really, really disappointing for that price point. Teach me to spend a ridiculous amount of money on something I wasn't entirely sure about in the first place. So much for the Chantecaille 20th anniversary palette. Much, much cheaper. I'm going to say I paid less than a tenner for this. It was just a gimmicky thing. Is a Pupa cat. Now, I don't know how long Pupa have been around. I'm going to say since the 1980s. I think they were around when I was starting to buy makeup, if I'm honest. Not so widely here in the UK, but I seem to remember going on the continent to Holland and Italy and into the kind of supermarket, possibly France as well, the sort of supermarkets that sell makeup as well in mainland Europe, and being very attracted to the Pupa range, because at the time their packaging was very innovative compared with the very boring packaging that we got in the 70s and 80s from Max Factor and Maybelline and those kind of brands, which felt like it was pretty much all we had over here. I suppose Boots 17 as well. Anyway, partly for old time's sake, partly because it was a cat, I got this one. Came in a ginormous box. It contains 2 shadows and 2 lip gloss, actually 3 shadows. Well, I'm not sure if this is meant to be a highlighter. 2 lip glosses and 2 shadows. Now, immediately you can see, in terms of pigmentation, these compare very favourably with the Chantecaille. You know, it's very basic colours, but that brown in particular is going on pretty well. It's not crumbly or lots of fallout, and it's a perfectly decent colour. And the white highlighter eye colour goes on really well. You know, really basic shadows, but perfectly nice, and 2 a bit kind of boring but okay lip glosses. The problem with these kind of palettes is that they do get a bit gungy, particularly I think where eyeshadow is mixed with lipstick or lip gloss. Never really works when they're in the same compartment, I think. But I'm pretty sure I paid under a tenner for this, so you really, really can't complain. The compact itself, I mean, it's plastic, it's very lightweight. You know, this is heavier, but I have to say, to me, it's better engineered than the Chantecaille. So it just shows that quality doesn't always follow the money. I mean, I'm not saying this is fabulous quality, but you really couldn't complain about it. It's decent quality, attractively presented. Would be great for, you know, teenagers' first makeup or whatever. And then just finally into the mix, this is a Korean brand, Tony Moly. I've had, and I think I've shown, the fruit hand creams. I had a tangerine or an orange, or I think it was meant to be a grapefruit one, but smelt of tangerine, or the other way around, was in one of my empties recently. And I've had a banana one in the past. Couldn't resist this little panda. This is called Panda's Dream White Hand Cream, and I think it's meant to deal with the dark spots, so I certainly need that. You can see that you can't see very much really, it's white cream and It smells nice. It smells faintly fruity, not a very obvious fruit, one of those kind of generic fruits. Again, Tony Moly is very reasonably priced and fairly widely available on mail order now. They're just fun products, and I quite like the hand creams. They're quite thick, quite sticky. I think they're better suited to kind of you know, by the bedside, on your bedside table, last thing at night hand cream, because they're sticky, rather than reapplying in the day when a tube in your handbag of a slightly less sticky formulation might be more useful. But you know, you can't complain about the value you're getting for money and the fun packaging of this Korean brand. He does do other things, particularly face masks. I haven't tried any of those. I'd be interested if any of you have and what you thought. Maybe that's the next thing to try. So hope you've enjoyed this little digression into the animal kingdom. Business as usual soon. Please leave a thumbs up if you've made it this far. It really helps me out when the ratio of thumbs up to views is a good one. It helps my videos to be seen a little more widely, which pleases me a great deal. Until next time, bye for now.